Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 51. There is so much that came through in this meditation, and I will just try to get through it the best I can. So, my cats have taught me, like with a cat, you don't get a cat's love, you receive it. With a cat, you can't, they don't respond to like force or control or demands, nothing. With the cat, what you learn is you hold a space of unconditional love. And this is what I try to teach my 5-year-old nephew in different words. But you just hold a space of unconditional love, and then they always want to be around you. They just are always around you and in your life and want to be around you. And the same is true with life. With life and with source energy, you don't try to go get source energy. You don't try to go get love. What you do is you receive source energy, love. And as you hold a space of unconditional love, then life fills that space, source fills that space with blessings. And I have, with what meditation is teaching me, is that there's a very physical pathway to holding a space of unconditional love. And the physical pathway is receiving. And here's what I mean. So you may want to close your eyes for this. You can keep them open. What you want to do to come into the receptive mode, you can come into it right now, is you want to feel anywhere in your body where you may be holding tension or where you feel like you're contracting or closed, anywhere at all. I mean, you start with, your chest and your heart, your shoulders, and just really let yourself go limp and just feel yourself open everywhere, especially in the solar plexus, in your sacral chakra, your pelvic floor, just open everywhere and just let yourself melt. You might even be feeling that you're holding tension in your jaw or in your face. A big place we hold tension is our brow. Maybe you're holding tension in your neck. Just feel yourself open everywhere, and anywhere you're contracting, even 1%, let that place melt. And what you'll start feeling is a receptiveness and a much more openness. And what you'll also feel is after you stay in this place of openness and total surrender and total just letting everything melt and not holding contraction anywhere, what you'll start feeling is more energy. And this is what any type of ascension symptom really is. It's just more energy coming into your body. And because we're programmed to live in a place of contraction, closedness, lack, scarcity, fear, anxiety, stress, trying to get love. That's how we're programmed to live, and that's a place that's a low vibration. And if you are like me, you spent most of your life there. So our body is used to that much energy, is used to that little of energy, I should say, of living in lack and scarcity and fear and stress and survival mode. So when we start opening our bodies up, just like we just did, what happens is we start taking in more energy. And what energy we're taking in is abundance, because we're just receiving. We're open to love. We're not closed anymore. So as we open ourselves to more energy, our cells have to adapt, our heart has to adapt, our nervous system has to adapt, our breathing, the blood flow, everything starts changing as we start taking in more energy and as we start becoming more abundant and as we start resting in the receptive mode more often, well, that's going to cause a lot of effects. And so I've been making videos on Ascension symptoms and clearing, and that's what I mean is when we are in the receptive mode, and we're taking in more energy, it's going to, first of all, it's going to shine more light on all of the unconscious programming that we've inherited. All of that scarcity and lack and fear and stress, that's all going to have to be seen now because we're open. And you'll notice, and try this as a practice throughout your day, see how long you can sustain that place of openness. You don't have to be in a meditation to be in the receptive, to literally be in a physical space of receptivity and openness. You can just be going about your day and maybe standing in line at the grocery store or, cooking a meal, and you can feel, oh, I'm contracting here. I'm contracting in my solar plexus. Or a big one is we contract in the thinking mind right up here. And then you can just open there and then open everywhere else in that moment too. And as you stay in the receptive mode longer and longer, what you'll notice is, your space for unconditional love just keeps growing and expanding. This is because as we're open, our heart wants us wide open and our mind wants us closed shut. So as you stay more open, what you're going to find is you're going to be living through the heart more. You're going to be in the body more. And another thing that you need to be aware of as you keep opening, there's going to be these old patterns that come up and try to close you down. Meaning the more you open, sometimes there's going to be a dark thought that pops up and it's going to close you. That's an old pattern, and all it's trying to do is protect you. It's an old pattern trying to keep you small. Because when we're open all day and we're in the receptive mode and we're taking in source energy and we're not trying to grasp for love, we're just receiving it, and you're gonna expand. If you can do this one thing of staying open all day and not contracting, and every time you notice you're contracting, if you can just melt there, you're gonna start expanding. Because now you're clearing space for inspiration to come through, higher ideas to come through. You're going to start feeling more connected than ever. You're going to become more of a conduit and a vessel for source energy. And source energy is going to put you to work, and you're going to start expanding. What's going to happen is these old patterns are going to surface, these old patterns of scarcity and lack and fear. They're going to surface and they're going to say, no, stay small. Because these patterns have, they've tried to just keep you safe your whole life. They're innocent, So when you're staying open throughout the day and intense negativity arises, maybe it feels like a panic attack's coming up, or just intense anger, or so much sadness, open to this too. Because this is just an old pattern that's trying to keep you small. And if it comes up and we close, then we stay where we are and we stop expanding. And that's okay too. Cut yourself a break if that happens. You can't get this wrong. So just know that as we stay in this place of receptivity and openness, and as we start expanding, that voice, there's going to be these patterns coming up, these voices coming up with darkness trying to really scare you into staying closed. And all these patterns need is to be seen. They just need you to stay open and to keep shining your light of awareness on it, to keep showing these patterns to source energy, and to give your heart to these older patterns that truthfully are just innocent and are just trying to keep you safe. Give your heart to them, give your love to them. And that's how we move through this process in a very physical way. We just stay open, and we'll notice more light coming in, and as more light coming in, we might get really cold, we might get the chills, we might get electric tingling, we might start having rapid thoughts, we might have our heart will start pulsating, we might start sweating, all kinds of physical things can start happening because we're taking in more light, which means more of the old grids, more of the old darkness is coming up. And if we can just stay open and trust and keep trusting, then it's just a beautiful movement into living a life of abundance, which just means it's a movement into expanding into unconditional love. And once you start feeling this unconditional love, you start just shining it on all the darkness that comes up, all the chaos, all the symptoms. You start understanding. You're like, because I'm just taking in more energy. And that means your body has to adapt in a very physical way. Like me, when we go 30 years living in lack and scarcity and fear, our vibration's like right here. And then all of a sudden we start taking in all this light, we start letting go, we start surrendering, we start allowing the Kundalini to live through us as us. We start praying, we start asking the divine to flood our being with grace. Well, our vibration rapidly goes up, right? Now the body has to do the work to catch up to that vibration hiring. The body has to do a lot of work. It has to, the cells are changing. We're unearthing dormant DNA, activating dormant DNA. The nervous system has to do so much to really adapt to this much light. And sometimes that's why we'll go to really high states, but we can't be there for long. It's because our nervous system doesn't have the endurance yet. And over time, as we keep opening and keep trusting and keep letting the old patterns leave, our nervous system will adapt. That's why sometimes we can't form a sentence, we can't read anything, we just can't think logically 1 or 2 sentences ahead. It's because we're taking in so much more light that the nervous system needs to shut off all its functions just so it can keep adapting to the rewiring process. So it needs to shut off thinking altogether. And this is also a gift because it brings you into presence and the heart. But so the mind, for a while, in the rewiring process, when you're bringing in all this light, it has to let go of logical sequencing and all of that. And for a while, you're just kind of really trusting, because you can't really think straight, and everything you say is just very spontaneous because you can't think out what you're going to say to people. I went through this when I was in sales. I just had to trust. I just had to literally trust what was coming through because I couldn't think ahead, which was a totally new thing to me, and actually was a beautiful divine gift because it taught me how to learn, or it taught me how to live in a more real, authentic, and spontaneous way rather than always relying on the plans of the mind. But do trust after a while, once the nervous system starts adapting to this much light, the thinking comes back. But the thinking is now just a tool for the divine. The thinking is now just to assist your heart, just to assist in the decisions your heart makes. You don't go to your mind for big decisions anymore. You don't go to your mind for your identity, for who you are. No, your mind is simply a tool. It's just simply an aspect of who you are. It's not who you are anymore. So that's another beautiful thing that opening does. It helps you dissolve that identity to the mind. And you'll notice, to end this video, let's do it one more time. If any contraction has come up in your body, in your mind, just simply let it melt. Simply open where there's any type of holding going on, any type of clenching. A lot of times we clench deep in the gut. See if you can let go there. And just as we end this video, I just want you to feel as you're opening. Maybe you can close your eyes. I want you to feel as you're opening everywhere there's tension, just letting any place there's contraction, just really feel yourself opening there. And then just fall back. Allow yourself to open and just fall back and just let go of any type of control. Let go of anything that's holding on, anything that's trying to protect you from surrendering. Just completely let go. And what you might notice is your spacious nature. And not only your spacious nature, but how alive this spacious nature is, and how vital it is, and how just radiant it is. And how that's who you truly are. That's what you truly are. And that this surrender, this opening, this receiving is taking us into knowing ourselves as that radiant, spacious, and abundant nature. Day 51. Thank you for being here with me. I just love and cherish every single one of you. And I love how this community we're building is reflecting so much unconditional love and authenticity and just honesty about everything we go through, the highs and the lows, the light and the dark. We're all in this together. We're all going through this together. No one watching this is alone. Everyone watching this is part of, first of all, the one, but is also part of this community, and we're all here to support each other, and I just feel that from all of you. And I thank you so much for all of you sharing your unique experiences, because that helps us all understand our unique experiences better. And that's really all I'm here to do. So I love you guys. Day 51. Namaste.